All right, good morning, guys. Melissa here. So I just finished up some exercise. Haven't brushed my hair yet. So this is my morning mop, my morning hair. I don't really think it's a mop. I'm just picking on myself. So, um, nah, I kind of like it. I feel like it looks sexy, you know? I kind of like it. It looks kind of like the look a lot of people like to wear, a lot of women. Anyways, what do I want to talk about? Okay, so my life is pretty full. I thought we would be moving to Virginia, but it looks like we are going to be moving to Nevada. So there's a lot of opportunity there. There is a lot on the Las Vegas Strip. So that is where it looks like we will be going. And, my son just came back from California. Him and his friends scouted out a place and different places, etc., different plans. So yeah, I think we are going to head over there. So not 100% yet, but it looks like that will happen. And I'm like, there are some amazing restaurants there I can work at, luxury homes I can clean, etc. So as I talk about that, I want to talk about something else. So yesterday I put a video up and then I just put private because I felt like, I was still sick. It didn't come out good. But the message was really good. The message was something I learned about myself by talking about abortion on here was enforced abortions I'm talking about. Was I remember like someone on here is like, oh, he raped you. He did not rape me. My first boyfriend did not rape me. So let's get that clear. Did he disrespect me? Yes. I felt like that condom was, I had asked about it. Wasn't sure it was safe, but yet, even though he assured me and I trusted him that that condom was safe, I still, at 16, trusted him. And I could have said no. I could have said, no, I'm uncomfortable. But at that time, I did not know how to put my boundaries up clearly. So that is really important, ladies, to put your boundaries up because otherwise there is a miscommunication. So then I had said, just bring me home, in self-defense, bring me home. I was so mad. And then we were just done. I just did not talk to him. I had moved on. I had thought I liked another guy, so I was being honest and said, at 16, I didn't think I wanted to go out with him anymore. And he cried, and I showed empathy. And I actually was okay saying, all right, maybe I'm wrong, and we'll stay together. So, up until the condom broke. So as I talk about this, ladies, I talk about the intricacies of an unplanned pregnancy. So you may think, well, geez, I'll never get pregnant, even if the condom breaks. I still didn't think I was pregnant. I didn't think that would happen, right? So, it's only like one time a month you can get pregnant, and it just happened to be the condom broke at that time. So, and then I knew I needed my space. I just knew I am an introvert. So a lot of times, people will be like, you act like an extrovert. I have my sides where I get energized by other people, but then I need to process. I need to have time to myself. So, so I need my space. And instead of having my space, my mother brought me over to his home, and I didn't want to be there. And I guess she probably felt like, we need to talk about this. But there were conversations on the phone. So after that, so I don't know, I wasn't part of that. So I think the best thing to do would have been, you got her pregnant and you are going to take responsibility. He was just a little older than me. You are going to take responsibility for this, and, you are going to raise the kid with her. Or his family's going to help, whatever, right? So instead, his family and mine chose abortion, saying I was too young. And I was not too young. I was too young to date. So it was important that I had the space, and before I had the space to continue processing, I think after Randy's house, my mother had dealt with things, and I think there was a sense of trust again. So I trusted my mother, and then when she mentioned abortion, etc., I had trusted her judgment again, and then when we got to the doctors, it was just, here, sign this and don't read it, so I trusted my mother. And you should trust your mother. You should, right? I mean, most girls should. I was in a situation yesterday, and I thought this was so cute, where a young girl was saying to her mom, stay by the door. And she's like, I'm right here. I'm not leaving, because the bathroom door was locked. And she's like, I'm right here. So I remember doing that with my mom, being like, stay by the door, at the bow and arrow shoots, because we had the outhouses, right? So there's a million ways. I mean, I remember shopping with my mom. And my mom and I, there was a time we were very close, very close. But after that abortion, trust went out the window. And then I was dating Mike. And somebody said on here, oh, you were in love with Mike at 3 months after. And I was not in love with him. Okay, no one knows my heart. And as a matter of fact, as I started thinking about that more yesterday, I'm like, he was just, and I felt like this, and I've said it before, like he was an escape for me. That's all he was an escape out of the situation. And then because I thought I was going to marry Randy, I think Mike, I thought I was now going to marry him. So when you have brokenness like that in a relationship, it is like the next relationship is rebound, and you are trying to get back what you lost. So I think a lot of women make those mistakes. They had an abortion and they're trying to somehow get back to where they were. Somehow you're trying to deal with that trauma. You're like, okay, I got to get back on my feet. And I remember for me, it was just fleeing. It was just hanging out with him at the horse races, dating him. And I was very far from God. I mean, I was way out there. And then I just went further and further because, he broke into our home and he was no good for me. And what really did it was my loyalty to a friend. I had loyalty to my friends, and my friend's home got broken into, and that was it. I mean, I'm like, we're done. So, so that was a big part of my friendship life. And then, just going and, me being with my husband and him pretty much, giving me stability after, we dated a couple years. I was at the pool all the time, and we were swimming and playing Van Halen and listening to music. And then my long-term friendships gave me stability. I was at my friend's house in Raymond, and we were swimming at the pool all the time. And so I had that stability again after. But then when my husband broke up with me, it was another break, and it was a huge hurt. And I just started dating other guys, like one guy after another, just dating, right? So until I hit rock bottom, and me and my girlfriend dated a guy, so-called date a guy together. And I'm like, looking back, I'm like, well, what the heck were you thinking, Melissa? So that was a big, big part of me turning my life around, because I got totally used. And it was a bad situation. And so I was like, okay, something's got to change. And I started changing again. And then my husband and I were back together. I'm telling you, girls, I was a total mess. And then we got married, and then I had left because he wasn't being nice to me. And looking back, what I should have done was just say leave to him. That's what I should have done, and said, leave. But I had already, when he broke up with me, I already had another guy who was interested in me. And so when I left, this guy was still interested in me. So I was dating him, and then my husband's like, I want to work things out again. And so there was a time in my life that it was totally crazy with guys. And I think a big part of that was the abortion. So this is what happens to girls. And then, once I became a Christian, I got solid. I just fell in love with God and moved forward and learned and turned my whole entire life around. And that was from becoming a Christian. So, I now had good values. I had good mentors in my life. I had good teachers. I had a lot of help. So that is why I am somebody who wants to help so much. I've been told, Melissa, you got such a heart. And it's because I know, and I've been through it. I've been through it. There's nothing I don't think any girl has been through that I have not been through. I don't think there's one situation. So that's why I feel like the more I've been through, the bigger my ministry can be to help other women. So, and let me tell you, guys, when I was dating, oh my goodness, they were like magnets. They were like every guy wanted to date me. So, I mean, I had to like fight them off myself in my own way. But the ones I did date, yeah, they were like, I look back and I'm like, what were you thinking, Melissa? They were not high class men. They were kind of like, I was small town. Someone asked me the other day, what was small town like? What did you grow up like? And so I was like, oh, well, there was nothing in town, nothing at all. We had to go to Concord to go roller skating or to the movies or whatever. So, I mean, I always had guy friends. We always hung out. We were friends, etc. But it wasn't until later that we had a pizza place and an arcade in our town, which everyone hung out in. And I was very popular. All the guys liked me. I mean, then we had kid stuff, right? I was going out with Jeff, Jason, Mike. We would go out, break up, go out, break up. That was like 7th, 8th grade stuff. But every guy liked me. And so I never had a problem getting a boyfriend. Never. So now, as a Christian woman, I had committed, over 33 years of my life to my husband. So my point in all this is that a lot of that stuff, needing my space and that getting broken again and having other people manipulate me, that got broken. So a lot of times when you look back and you process, you're like, wait a minute, I needed my space. I didn't have it. My boundary was broken here. Then it was broken again. Then it was broken again. And that is where a lot of post-traumatic stress comes in for women, because the disrespect they feel or the broken boundaries or the lack of space can really bring like fight or flight, because you feel like this has happened to you before. So you want to heal from that. You want to be like, okay, I'm going to heal from that, and I am going to put up strong boundaries, and I am going to be listened to, and I'm going to have my space to process things. So that is a huge part of the healing process. And I was saying yesterday, a lot of times in the post-abortive classes, we don't address this. We just hear, oh, God forgives. Well, yes, he forgives, but what is he forgiving, right? You have to go through and you have to be like, well, this is what happened. And a lot of times this curriculum isn't hitting the nail on the head, because it's like, well, you didn't even get to the point, the main point. How did you get pregnant? It was his fault when he kind of lied to me, right? It was his fault. And I did feel like he knew. I felt like he knew. I can't remember all the details, but I did feel that way. And I felt like he was trying to keep me with him. And just for that in of itself was wrong. And that's where I think a lot of the decisions were made, that you tricked her, you are older, you knew better, you shouldn't have done this, so there was no responsibility for him taken, none. And so he just got out of it scot-free because he, had a life to live. So yeah, I mean, this is the type of stuff you have to dig into, ladies, and not worry so much about, yes, God does forgive, but you really have to go through the details and be like, what really happened, and to be able to be like, okay, I'm a Christian and it's all over and it's forgiven, and whatever decision, and you were a victim. Like I was talking to someone about this and he's like, well, God forgives you. And I'm like, I was a victim with the abortion, so much more so with the abortion. I'm like, those were adults, those were doctors, that was a doctor's office that had authority. So don't be putting double blame on me, right? So a lot of people will do that because they don't understand abortion. You're talking about a kid with adults, right, who should know better. So, yeah, so that's kind of the thing. So when I think about, at first I took all the blame and I said that. And when I think about what did I do, right? I obviously was brought up to think it was okay to date and to sleep with guys. And so what did I do, right? The guy tricked me and he got what he wanted, and he, I put up the boundary and said, take me home, and I did the right thing. But then the adults in my life took advantage of that. So, Yeah. So that is where the major problem was, with not even, there was the situation that should have been dealt with him, that, he definitely, was irresponsible, but then another whole situation on top of that with the abortion instead of dealing with the main problem. So that's kind of where we should be at. And then, the actual killing of the child, that was the doctors again. So who should be forgiven? In the main picture, it would be the doctors, right? The doctors were the ones killing the child. And yes, I was brought there, but again, I was a minor, and nobody knows how girls are brought to the abortion clinics. They have no idea about the home life, about the way they were raised, nothing, and they just kill the baby. So we do need better post-abortive healing. We need it to be much more positive, much more broader, and understanding the whole situation along with the family dynamics. And when I talk about my post-abortive healing, the first class was just getting through family stuff. It wasn't even dealing with the abortion. And I think that direction that I took was correct. I think it was, because you are applying medicine without knowing the problem. So this is an area that we need to do better in. Definitely do better in, and not shame girls again who have had abortions or put more blame on them when many times it wasn't their fault. So we need to do much better. We need to have more understanding. We need to have a bigger picture of what abortion is. So that's what I got this morning, guys, with my pro-life talk. And it's important to build girls up even after abortion.